Yeah, man. Greetings once again. Sibuyile ngalendota yama trillion years, 1 million, 1 billion, 8 million, 144,000, 24 elders, 24 elders divided into 6 clans, 2 clans of 6 each, with 2 leaders each, a male and female. Hey, iyayikhuluma lento kunama 6,000 years khona lapho,
Kuningi nje.
when white people were created by a man with a big head. Hey, Dot, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yebo mkhulu.
Are you racist?
I wish I was. I am not racist at all.
Okay. Does race have any meaning to you?
Does race have any meaning to me?
Or any importance?
In terms of what mkhulu, maybe we can put context into that.
If a white man walks in the door and asks for food, and a black man walks in the door and asks for food, who are you going to give food to?
You see, this is why I said earlier that it will appear as if I'm racist, whereas I'm not, and I'm just spreading the truth. Because of the cycle of self-forgetfulness that we are in right now, and what needs to happen to end it, I would give the food to the black man,
And leave the white man.
and I will leave the white man alone.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have a race preference,
I don't have a race preference.
but you choose the black man over the white man.
I understand who white people are, and I understand who black people are. That's all. Let me not say white people. Actually, let me say non-blacks. Yes,
Is it possible for a non-black to be a good person?
yes, they can choose that. Yes, they have the will to do that. To be a
Can
good person.
they exhibit godliness?
to a certain extent.
Which extent is that?
So we have to
So
understand.
what is your definition of godliness?
Right. My definition of godliness is possessing a black dominant gene.
Okay, so godliness for you is possessing a black dominant gene.
Yes.
And then the black rapists,
Yes. What about them, Kuru?
what about their black dominant gene, their godliness?
Yes, they are still gods. Like again,
They are
this was-
god rapists
They are. They are.
and
yeah.
god murderers.
Yes, that's
and
true.
god child molesters.
That is true.
So what is special about this black dominant gene?
Right. The speciality of the black dominant gene is one and only one thing: the fact that God can incarnate into
In a rapist.
in a rapist. Yes,
So God is a rapist.
you can say that, but in truth, God is not a rapist. But you can say
But the man he incarnated in possesses the God element.
yes.
So God is experiencing to be a rapist.
yes,
So God is a rapist.
yes.
People are praying to a rapist.
We could put it that way.
You yourself are calling yourself Black God the rapist.
So that is assuming that there's just one God that all of us pray to.
Oh, so there are many gods.
There are 1 billion, 8 million gods.
1 billion, 8 million gods.
Yes.
So each and
Individual.
every person can have a choice which God they believe in.
No, you don't believe in the God. When I say 1 billion, 8 million gods, I talk about the gods that have incarnated in each and every single one of us here. And that God is who we truly are.
A rapist.
If you have done that, then you can say that. I have not raped anyone.
But me and you are made of the same substance.
We are made of the same substance.
The
In
same
fact, we are one
blueprint.
thing. Yes.
We are one thing.
We are one thing,
So
yes.
my sin is your sin. My crime is your crime.
We could, at a certain level, we could look at it that way.
If a man from the Kuzwayo clan rapes, Kuzotwani, the rapist yakwa Kuzwayo.
Injalo.
So the whole Kuzwayo clan is painted by that man's
Yes.
act.
Which is what's happening even today.
So if I choose to rape because of my God element, you are also a rapist.
we could put it that way. That's
He's
not-
also a rapist. The child she's going to give birth to tomorrow morning is a rapist. Because we all share the same God complex.
Yes.
What are you saying?
What I'm saying is that we're going to go back to the cycle of
And I'm only focusing on rapists.
yes,
Maybe God is a giver, is a caregiver. Maybe God is a lover.
yes,
Let's take Casanova. So God is Casanova. God is playboy, fuckboy.
God is everything.
God will drive GTI uthatha uthat bethu.
Yonke nje.
Uyabamithisa.
Mkulu, at the end of the day, according to what
So
I'm told,
everything we see is God.
at the end of the day, there's only one thing that exists, and that's God.
So
Every single thing that
God is raping God in
Yes.
the act of rape.
yes,
One aspect of God is raping another aspect of God.
that is exactly how
In a crime situation, one aspect of God is stealing from another aspect of God.
injalo mkhulu.
And it's all because God wants to experience how to be raped and how to rape.
In general, we say he wants to experience this cycle of self-forgetfulness, which has been ongoing for the past 6,000
So
years.
it's a choice.
It is a choice by God
So
to
God
be doing
chose to
this.
come to this world and incarnate to get raped by 6 drunk men.
That is exactly what happened.
Careful of what you're saying. No, God is not the rapist. That man forgot his godliness.
Hence, he's
So
doing
he's
those
acting
things.
out of his forgetfulness.
Exactly.
You understand?
Injalo mkhulu.
Yeah, ungathi hayi, it's godly to rape.
It is not godly to
But
rape.
that's what you are implying.
Yes, I was totally wrong there.
Yeah, bo.
Definitely.
So, what is your definition of godliness?
Yebo mkhulu. So, my definition of godliness is possessing the dominant black gene.
The black man who is in prison now for raping 6 children, does he possess the dominant black gene?
He does possess it.
Then God is a rapist.
No, mkhulu. God is
Futhi.
not a rapist. God is not a rapist. Remember, I've been explaining that for the past 6,000 years, we've been in a cycle of self-forgetfulness, in a state of forgetfulness, forgetting that we have forgotten, all of us as black people, that we are gods, right? So that man is acting out of that self-forgetfulness.
Oh, sekarape nje urape ngoba uzikhohliwe yena ukuthi
Usikhohliwe.
ubani.
Injalo mkhulu.
It's an identity issue.
It's an identity issue
And the true identity of all men is that we are gods.
of all black people. If I were to just put it in the right way. Again, it goes back to my definition of
Fundisa
godliness.
sisiyofama kwethu. All men possesses a spark of God in them. It's called consciousness, right?
Yebo mkhulu injalo.
Do white people have consciousness?
They do.
Then white people also are connected to God.
They are.
Then they can also be godly.
They can't. I remember the definition of godliness that I gave, that you have to
Sasemncane
possess.
ntwana yami ukuthi uzonda belungu bengakwenzanga nix yezwa. Awuyazi wena ne-apartheid, awukazi wabona yini leya biza. Ayi-cry freedom. Amabhulu bazonya. Ibiza. Are you Sarafina? Kadenzel Washington ibopha. You haven't even watched ibopha mntanam. USarafina why? Awumbonanga uSarafina? Awumbonanga mntanam. You are still too young to hate white people. Say this rather. All people have the potential of godliness. It's forgetfulness that makes a person act out evil or whatever. Ungathi only black people, baningi abantu abamnyama bayathakathana manje emakhaya. True or false?
Injalo mkhulu.
Baningi abantu abamnyama bayabulalana manje. True or false?
True.
So don't make it about black and white.
I-
Let's make it about how about we try and make it about humanity.
That is gonna be very, very difficult.
So now, are you saying to me that if I remove black and white, your whole philosophy falls down to nothing?
No.
Then let's not talk about black, let's not talk about white, carry on.
Right. Again.
Ungafaki black dominant or white recessive. Let's talk about God and human experience without black and white.
Akunankinga mkhulu. So now,
I'm
been trying-
challenging you, nje, kancane.
Akunankinga.
I want to see
So-
if you can speak about this philosophically without race.
Yes. Right. So again, I've been going back to this 6,000 year cycle that I've been trying to explain. That there's even something that I forgot to mention, right? Just before Yahweh was born. Remember the hierarchy that we had?
Yabahawa,
Yabahwehu.
Yabahwehu.
Yes, the Hwehu over time in Botswana culture changed to Swehu. So today we would say Yaba Swehu. Yaba Swehu when it's actually full. But at that time we knew that he's the king of the white people. So there was no need for us to say every time when we see him, Kgosi Yaba Hwehu or Kgosi Yaba Swehu. No. We just call him Yaba Hwehu.
Okay.
And that's how the name basically came about, right? So, but his full name is Kgosi Yaba Hwehu or Kgosi Yaba Swehu. Right. So now, when we were deteriorating our bodies, our leaders did not deteriorate their bodies. The 24 elders, 144 chiefs, and the 144,000 judges. Now I'm going to talk about the 144,000 judges. And I know very well that you are aware of this number from the Bible and many other scriptures, right? Now, 6,000 years ago, when the rest of the black population was deteriorating their bodies, the leaders did not deteriorate their bodies. Immediately 6,000 years ago, when Yahweh was born, the judges knew, as they were told by the 24 elders, that they have a certain mission with them, or with their bodies rather, right? What happened in Kulu was that each and every single one of the 144,000 judges that existed back then, 6,000 years ago, they laid, before they ascended, they laid their bodies down and ascended, died. And the reason they did that was so that those bodies can be used as bodies of resurrection at the end of the cycle of 6,000 years.
So they made a plan.
Yes.
Once we deteriorate enough, kuzoba nalaba sizostora khona le genetic memory ngabo.
Exactly. So that we can now return back to our glorious heritage. To return back to how we used to be as black people in our original bodies.
So they made the choice to fall.
Yes.
In order to remember again.
Injalo mkhulu.
Why did they choose to fall?
Again, God knows everything but has not experienced everything.
God knows everything but does not explain everything.
Has not experienced.
Or has not experienced. So it was for experience.
It was all for experience.
So we are all gods here on earth to have a human experience.
That's it, mkhulu.
So if all black people are here on earth as gods to have a human experience, white people are here to do what?
White people are here for the purpose of bringing what we call evil into the world. They are the physical manifestation of that.
Be very careful, my youth. Be very, very careful. Race apartheid was justified like that. Oguti, black people are less human, they are breeders of evil, so they were justified to oppress them. Slavery was justified like that. Willie Lynch, all the worst atrocities in history happened because of that line of reasoning. Adolf Hitler killed people in the Holocaust because of that line of thinking. You are far too young to be thinking like that, my lord. You are far too young to be thinking like that. Correct that statement. All humans are here on earth as gods to experience the human experience. Not only blacks.
Yes.
Yeah,
Not
because you are sounding very, very dangerously racist. And I don't want people to think that now this young man is a racist.
And I'm not.
He's full of hatred.
I'm not. I'm not even capable of hate myself. I don't hate
You're
white
a
people.
teddy bear, man.
I just know who they are. I just not even know. I understand who they are. I understand who we are. I understand their purpose on earth.
You're a student at Wits University, right? And you are doing your honors degree.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Wits University is a black or a white university?
That is a largely white university.
It's a largely white
You
university.
see a lot of black people, but institutionalized.
Institutionally, it's white.
Institutional.
It was designed for white people.
Injalo.
And black people were welcomed after the 1994 influx and right? Angithi, when racism
Yes,
started
yes.
being loose. Angithi.
Injalo mkhulu.
So now you are being educated and being honored by white people.
That is true.
Yeah, be careful of who you hate.
I don't hate them at all.
We understand.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that now you must start glorifying white people.
Yes.
I'm saying you have a beautiful story to tell. Don't let race disturb your intelligence.
Ngiyakuzwa mkhulu.
Yabona makhehla wethu wena Kgosi, I'm going to tell you one thing. And this is going to sound very confrontational to a whole lot of Pan-Africanists, to a whole lot of African spiritualists, to a whole lot of Rite and bakwethu imission yenu nonke niphelele ifailile. You all failed. Kule hate them, love us. I-ANC ihlulekile. The whole parliament idla imali. They are doing nothing for the people in the streets. So politics failed, black and white racism failed, church and religion failed, hatred amongst itself nje iyodwa failed. You are too young to perpetuate that nonsense, mntanami yazi. La makhehla lawa kufundisa leyo nonsense ukuthi abelwangu abamnyama have the dominant black gene. Tell them Abba said fuck you. No, I'm sick and tired of this nonsense now. No, you are disturbing your own intelligence. You have a beautiful story to tell, but you are missing out on the human aspect of that story. Let me show you. Do you want to see it?
Yes.
Let me show you. As a human being, right? If you count 12 generations from you now, you count your father, his 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 father, and then you get to number 12, you have 144,000 people behind your father alone.
That is true.
Behind your mother alone, you have 144,000 people making up your genetic makeup, your genetic structure, making up who you are. So it's not 144,000 individuals, it's 144 individuals who put a genetic signature into who you are. We are speaking genetics, not physical history here. So those are symbols that you are talking about, but some old man made you believe that this is fact, not symbol. Why the 12? You have 12 major endocrine glands in your body. You have your hypothalamus, you have your thymus, you have your thyroid, you have your cardiac, you have your gonads, your adrenal, and all those 12 endocrine glands. Right? And then you have 12 appendages in your body. Right? You have your head, your hands, your hair, feet, your body. If you count the parts of your body, you have 12 of them. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You check it? 12 endocrine glands in the body, 12 appendages around the body. The temple of Jerusalem was built with 12 gates, your hands and feet. And the center of it was built on 12 foundations, 12 endocrine glands. This is biology, not history. Racism is disturb intelligence. So you've got a beautiful story to tell.
Yes.
Ungacabangi njengama 1996 ama exile, ama return soldier. Those people failed to liberate South Africa. They failed to liberate us ngale narrative yabo yabantu abamnyama. Bring back our land, bathatha umhlaba wethu. Uzowenza umhlaba ufuna ukwakha imikhukhu. And this is what they are teaching you young people to go around nitoyitoyela logo. Buyisa umhlaba wethu, these black people, these colonizers, and then yokwenzani lapho. EFF ithathe imihlaba ngenkani. Do you remember a few years back Malema? Wena Malika? Few years back EFF bebatshela abantu thatha imihlaba ngenkani. And do you know what happened? The best that happened kule mihlaba, kuhlonywa imikhukhu.
Injalo.
Kuhlonywa ini? Imikhukhu. Now, mtanam, don't pollute your mind with this political jargon and narrative and nonsense. White people did nothing to you personally.
That is true.
So don't hate people who did nothing to you. This is an elderly advice. Njengegrotman lakho. Uzozidisturb igedachte, uzozidisturb itiming, uzoba islim uhlakaniphile. Do you understand? Yeah, ungafani nalamakhehla lawo namanje asabamba iflag ka 1976 ukuthi Hector Peterson senzeni ke. Senzeni? Kumele sithenga ama ice troppers celebrate. What must we do ukuthi uMandela wahlala 27 years ejele wathunywa yithi?
Hayi next.
Wawukhona wena mayiboshwa?
Bengingekho.
Yeah, so I'm not going to sit here and fill your young head with Nelson Mandela nonsense. Right?
Ngiyakuzwa mkhulu.
So tell your story as a knowledge system. Don't tell your story as a weapon to fight against white people. You are never going to get anywhere. You are going to be like all these old people who are still saying, bring back the land. Mara bahlale ema-suburb next door nabelungu.
Eish. Yeah, one of those ones.
You understand? Those hypocrites.
Hypocrites, indeed.
Don't be like them, my son. Yes.
Ngiyakuzwa mkhulu.
Yeah. Izakahleke ngale story sakho. We are spirits, gods, on earth to have a human experience.
Yes.
Why?
Again, it is to experience what we already know, right?
And forgot.
And so those are two different things. We even before the cycle of self-forgetfulness, we knew things, but we had not experienced them. There are so many things that we haven't experienced. For example, I can know that there's a place called USA, but have I been there? I have never been to USA. So as much as I know that USA is there, the only way to truly confirm and really know what USA is to go there and experience it yourself.
So you have to get rid of what you know here and what you experience here and actually physically go there. You have to make the choice.
It's the difference between knowledge and experience.
Oh, so for us to remember that we are gods, we have to physically, consciously experience godliness by the choices we make.
Injalo mkhulu.
That's what you are saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Wena mfana omhlakaniphile yazi. Uthi people must choose to act out God instead of just believing.
Injalo mkhulu.
Ku-useless ukubelieve kuNkulunkulu and then you are not acting it out.
That's what many Christians are doing.
Come with it. I-explain kahle lento. I-explain kahle Kgosi. Wena wasemkhale. Habo.
Mokhatla eje boreko.
Hayi je boreko. Umntwana enkosi.
So that's exactly what I'm saying, Mkhulu. To say that godliness, or even what we refer to as God, it is not in worshipping, it is not in praying and everything like that. It is in how you behave and act as a human.
Not just wash. What? Faith without works is dead.
It's nothing.
Okay.
It's what do they call this? It's barren. You
Yeah.
know, a garden that is barren. It's like that. Does not bear fruits. So we must act out godliness. That's the only way. That's the only way we move forward. We act out godliness. We even Jesus said it in the Bible. When he said the statement that was convoluted. The statement in the Bible says, "Love yourself as you love your
Love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Love your neighbor as you love as you love yourself." The actual correct statement is, "Love your neighbor as yourself." That is completely different now.
Wow.
That is completely
Wow.
different. It is no longer love your neighbor as you love yourself. That there's a certain depth
There's
that
a
is
certain
missing.
depth that's missing there.
When you say love your neighbor as yourself,
So it means when you see your neighbor, you must see yourself.
you must see yourself.
Wena ucishe waba irasta mos wena. Ngoba marasta athi the I in you is the same I in me. Therefore I and I is I and I.
Injalo mkhulu.
So I must love my neighbor as myself.
As yourself.
Not as I love myself.
Not
Because
as
some of us don't love ourselves.
What happens when you don't love yourself? It means
Yeah,
you won't
abanye
love your
bethu
neighbor.
sidla ama-drugs, asilale ebusuku, o-Swiss beats bagroover for 3 days in a row. Asizithandi.
Injalo mkhulu.
So if I'm going to love as I love myself, shoot nawe ngizokurobha, nawe ngizokudraga, nawe ngizokuphoyizina, nawe ngizokutshela amanga, because I tell myself lies as well.
Injalo mkhulu.
But
And
actually I must love others as myself.
as yourself.
Give thanks for that lesson.
Siyabonga mkhulu.
Angifundile namhlanje. Love others as yourself.
As yourself.
Not as you love yourself. Ngoba sometimes asizithandi.
Injalo mkhulu.
Yeah man. Okay.
Siyaqhubeka manje ngithi.
Kubeka.
Well-
Sizeleni la emhlabeni this human experience. Sibuya phi sizoyivala ke manje.
Right. So we come from godliness. And from godliness is where we must return. There is no other way.
Umthatha lo mfana malika lo. Sibuya kuNkulunkulu sibuyele kuNkulunkulu.
That has
Basotho ba re re tswa botswa batho, re ya boya batho.
re boela galowe, re tswa
Ha
galowe,
manthatile,
re boela
ha
galowe.
mantilantilane man.
Injalo.
Re boela galo.
That's it, simply put.
Sibuyele mbo
Mele sibuyele embo mkhulu,
to who we truly are.
to who we truly are. Because this is not who we are,
And who we are is God,
is God.
having a human
Having a
experience.
human experience. We just happen, okay, let me separate the cycle of self-forgetfulness and whatever happened before that, right? In terms of the human experience. So even then, when we were still in those original bodies, right? When we are born, we would be born without knowing that we are God. You understand? But then there are certain rituals and things that we went through and initiations that we went through to remind ourselves that we are God before we die. So by the time we die, we are fully fleshed God.
So these rites of passage ezenziwayo ngesintu are very important to reactivate the memory of being God.
Injalo mkhulu.
And if we don't go through those set rites of passage, siba nenkinga. That's why
Siba
sinabana
nenkinga.
abantwana abanama disorder.
Injalo.
Amadoda amadala abafuna ukuba abafana. Omama abadala aba-acta njengamantombazana amancane.
100%.
Because abadlulanga kulama rites of passage.
Rituals that remind you who you are. The rituals that we have lost now. You understand?
That's profound. That's true. That's very true.
That is exactly how it is. Mkhulu. So even then, they were born forgetting that they're God, but then the rituals are there. Right now, we are born forgetting also that we are God, but the rituals are not there. So how are we?
Because somebody told us that we were conceived in inequity and born in sin. And it was the pastor or the bishop of our church.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is very interesting. That is very interesting to say the least.
So we are all the products of sin, according to Christianity.
According to Christianity, yes.
And according to you, we are all the products of God, and we are going to return to God.
We will return. We
There
must.
is no point where we separate from God.
We have never actually separated. It's just a forgetfulness.
It's just the forgetfulness.
The separation has never happened.
What's your message to the viewers out there?
If I were to have one message to my viewers, right, just to maybe wrap up everything that I've been saying, 6,000 year cycle, where we are right now, and what's going to happen moving forward. If we do not return to whence we come from, which is godliness, unfortunately, because of certain events that are going to happen in the future, we will find ourselves in a lot of trouble, right? And I also want to touch on, let's see how this one goes. There's this so-called rapture that Christians talk about.
Leyo ukuthi uzolala nomuntu bamtshontshe
Jiki
ebusuku.
jiki nje gone.
Usile Kgosi. Athi jiki jiki nje gone.
Iyabona mkhulu. So the reason I'm here really is to warn people about that, because it's a real event that will happen very, very soon, right? But now I must explain what this event is and how it came about, right? This event actually came about because of, which is a topic that we haven't gotten into, extraterrestrials, right?
I will uzosazobuya wena ngifuna senze so iseries kanje ngoba iningi lento oyikhulumayo.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, extraterrestrials were created about 2,000 years ago, and then because they were, like, again, goes back to how white people were mixing animals and their genes. That's how they were created. Now, these extraterrestrials, they have a very, very huge problem, Uncle. Their bodies are very, very weak. They need literally genetic material to survive. So they have conceived of a plan that has been in process over 2,000 years ago to say, because of Vele, that was around the time when Jesus was alive. They say they taught people the doctrine of the second coming of Jesus. So they will be coming, these extraterrestrials, in a few decades, I think 3. When they come, they are going to perform this so-called rapture. They are going to come and they are going to pretend to be the second coming of Jesus.
Do you realize that you'll still be alive in 3 decades?
I will definitely be alive.
So you'd be what, 55?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
In 3 decades, you'll be 55.
I'll be 55 years old. That is true.
And there are a lot of people who will still be alive.
Many people, many
And
of
they'll
us
be
here.
waiting to prove ukuthi vele uKhosi siyaphi.
Yeah. No. Here's my thing.
Ngabe at least ngabe uthe in the next 300 years sonke sobe sifile, no one will prove you wrong. I-30 years sobe sisaphila baleka. Aweke sobe singakaholi nepension.
Yeah. So we will see. I think that's all I can say.
But the warning is watch out.
The warning is watch out and watch
These
out for
extraterrestrials are coming.
They are soon coming. Cool.
So the Christian church teaches people that God and Jesus is going to come back and take people, and that's called the rapture. And those people are taken are going straight to heaven.
They are going straight to heaven.
And you are saying, no. Bazothathwa ama extraterrestrial, ama alien.
That's what I'm saying. Cool.
Popo, asifuni rapture thina ne. Asam down ama alien.
Yes. So these aliens, they've prepared planets all over our galaxy, whereby they will take our people there, and when they get there, value will appear as if it's heaven yana.
Oh,
They will have fun yana.
yeah.
But soon enough, they will realize the real agenda of these extraterrestrials, which is to milk them of the genetic material, and that's where it's gonna start getting down now. That's why they're
movie marwe.
next.
Ile movie malika le bathathi island. Yabona le movie bathi island. Bathatha abantu babavalela kwi-island and then bathi uwina ilotho. Bantu bawina ilotho, mawina ilotho yahamba bakunika i-trip i-cruise ababuyi. Bayafa. Badiscovera laba abanye ukuthi hey kanti le lotho le.
Hey, kuyanyiwa man.
Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Ubukela ama-movie mana naKhosi mana. When was Hollywood manje?
Hey, I wish.
Yeah?
I really wish.
Real.
I wish I was Hollywooding you, Mkhulu, but I'm not.
Shukuthi kahle sonke la emhlabeni isiphila kulomhlaba lo kaJim Carrey biza. Umhlaba kaJim Carrey biza mkhanya man. Umhlaba kaJim Carrey. Truman Show. Are you saying the world is a Truman Show? Everything is not what it seems. IsiNtu zibekwe upside down. What people know as God is actually this big-headed man, Womtswana.
Yes. Who we shouldn't even be referring to as God, really.
Who we shouldn't even be referring to as God.
They can refer, but let me not get into that. Yeah, let me not touch that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we shouldn't be referring to him as God because he's just like us.
He's just like us.
What he can do, we can do.
What if God was one of us? Shaipend Malik. As the stranger on a bus. And na 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 na. So that's what you're saying. God is just one of us.
Yes.
Just a stranger on a bus. But that means we should respect and treat each other in a very, very different way.
Which is why the reminder has to, which is why the people have to ultimately know about this. Only after knowing that will we now start not only treating ourselves like that, but also treating others like that. And that's how we return to godliness.
Do unto others as you want others to do unto you.
Exactly.
Umuntu ngabantu. Yithi abantu.
Injalo mkhulu.
Nakho ke. Ngiyabonga.
Ngiyabonga mkhulu.
It was lovely.
Thank you very much.
Uzobuya futhi.
Even today, 8 p.m.
Yeah. Bakwethu, the message here is one and simple. We are all spirits coming from a perfect existence. And that existence is perfect humanity. Emperor Haile Selassie says, a time will come when we have to be greater in our outlook, broader in our vision, larger in our spirit. We must overcome petty prejudices, and we must become members of a new race, a race of perfect humanity. In the name of His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie, give thanks.